we're in.
Cool.
Well, we're here today to welcome someone who was really part of the original team that put this all together as our branding advisor, our design guy, our London friend,
Oli.
That is how you pronounce it.
Is that how most people call you?
Yeah.
Oli?
Yeah.
Oli.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are pretty spot on with the accent.
Oliver?
Yeah.
So when I was in England the last time, I thought, because I'm kind of an impressionable person relative to accents, like I will just pick them up.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really ever before. Like I actually came pretty close in Ireland and a little bit in Scotland, but never in England. And then I'll just leave myself open to it. I'll just see how much of it I absorb and, just sort of repeat things or whatever. And then it came down to this. It came down to which one do you want? Because there are so many.
There's too many. If you walk 15 minutes one direction in London, you'll hit a different accent. And
Yeah. They did a TikTok on that, and they'll ask different people, all right, what about which one's the worst? Which one's the sexiest?
Yeah.
Which one's the dumbest? Which one do you stay away from?
Yeah, no, I try not to.
What is it? We're throwing you right down in it.
Yeah,
what is this? Liverpool? They're the shits?
Liverpool's okay. I feel like it's quite an extreme regional accent. I think Brummy, your Peaky Blinders, that's not my favorite.
Yeah. Do they like it?
I don't know. I had a lot of friends who went to university in Birmingham. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Locate yours for us then.
Just the vaguely southern southwest. It gets a bit more neutral when you hit that southwest bit. A lot of northerners will tell you sound soft or posh.
Of the country or just of London?
Of the country.
All right.
Of the country. And London is kind of the bang, the middle southwest. So
The closer you get to Scotland, the more Scottish you sound.
yeah.
I don't know what people think of American stuff. People joke on some Southern stuff sounding stupid, right? The Theo Vaughns, and he'll turn it up. Some of the Boston we make fun of, movies. I'm talking culturally, not me, what I personally make fun of, because I think they're all kind of funny. But culturally, we'll make fun of the Boston thing. It's in a bunch of movies. Whoa, you fucking knock. Yeah, the fucking knock. They'll
Bronx,
do all that.
New York.
Yeah, or the Italian,
Yeah.
Italian, Manhattan guy or whatever. But that's kind of it. Everywhere else you're from, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's pretty droney.
I don't really know that one, actually.
The
I don't even know if
Dakotas.
I could do it that good right now.
It's
On the spot, I can't do shit.
Pretty nasal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the...
And it's all kind of up here.
it's kind of even ties into the Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Starts
sounds
to
a
get
little
there.
Canadian for sure.
A little kind of a whiny Canadian.
Yeah.
But then everywhere else is pretty neutral. All the way from Florida and Washington are opposite, and there is the same.
Yeah, that's
Ish.
crazy.
Right? California and even Connecticut are opposite, and they're kind of the same. There's just mini patches for some reason here.
What's the accent in Fargo? Fargo, the film?
That's North Dakota.
Yeah.
Which
that's
is probably
a pretty
Wisconsin-y.
Yeah.
and
And
that's that kind of.
and that part of Canada above them kind of sounds
Southern
a little-
Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our friends at the Massonomics podcast are in South Dakota.
Yeah, it's don't you know? Shit like that. Yeah, it's the American Swedish.
Okay.
Yeah, if the Vikings
Yeah.
just planted down in America, it's the Viking version of that.
I mean, literally. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
They look kind of the same. The weather's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's just cold, icy, grumpy, big people.
Long hair. No, that's just them. Those guys.
Yeah, but I
don't
do
know.
feel that's more of a thing because you're cold.
You're cold. Yeah. You need hair.
beards. Yeah, beards.
Got to stay warm.
Yeah, even Cleveland, I didn't know how close it was to shit, but Cleveland, I just visited my family last week before, and it's I've obviously been there, I don't know, 100 times, but 3-hour drive to Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
So made sense, and my dad's Italian American, so some people say I have an accent, but I probably just talk like my dad, and there's probably little things.
Yeah.
I don't say it as bad anymore, but we used to say pop instead of
Yeah.
soda or Coke. We'd say
Yeah.
pop or a pie, or my dad would say and some of it's era also, but he would say catch a flick instead of go to a movie.
Yeah.
And then how he would say it sounds a little Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky's a little different, although it's close. Pennsylvania also all kind of have a 10% New York deal going on, but it's so much smaller. Coffee, they'll say a little bit of coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
A little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents were were born in Oklahoma, and my dad for sure grew up in Oklahoma, until he was like 10, 11, 12, something like that. And my mom, less time, but just around people who had that same accent. And when I was a kid, I was like, I'm not going to sound like that. Purposefully did not sound like that. I'm 8, 9 years old, and I'm like, I'd just rather pattern myself after somebody else. So,
you told me you like language a lot.
I do. I think it's like interesting. People come from different places and like sound different, and even if you learn a language in a different place. So I have friends who they learn English, but they learned it in like Germany. Yeah. So then their English sounds a bit German. Or you have a lot of people who they learned it in like an American school internationally. Yeah. So you get a lot of people who are not American, but they sound super American, like Valley Girl American, in universities in London. And that was a weird experience for me the first time.
Yeah. Learning a language with an auto accent.
Yeah.
I feel like, Californians feel like we don't really have an accent. And
I don't think you have too much of an accent.
We don't, but we tend to slur words together.
Yeah, we speak in cursive.
And we drop final consonants all the time.
Okay. Yeah. At least you don't have that upspeak. That's the only thing that gets a bit.
Plenty of people do.
Like Australia?
Yeah, or like some of like the Northern California. Like
what do you mean,
Yeah, I think it's a question.
Yeah, Australia. That's like that the Shane Gillis joke I just showed you. Yeah. Where you can never they always sound funny. You can never take them serious.
Yeah, in a tragedy, it's bad to be Australian.
Yeah. Or like I'm goth. He says he's like, you can't be Australian and goth. Like, yeah, I'm dark and twisted.
But California used to be part of Mexico.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of Spanish inflected names, and
every city,
all the names.
Every single yeah.
And
San Jose.
Some people say them right, and some people say them the way they're written, and some people slur them all together, like San Jose.
Yeah.
Most people in California, in Northern California, say San Jose as is one word.
Yeah, I even do too. But then, if you're like, "Hey, Mike, read that in Spanish,"
you'd say
I would read it in Spanish.
If you say it in Spanish, does it come across a bit like try-hardy?
Yeah, you probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah. You really have to have an obvious background.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you'd do it. Yeah.
You got to look a little bit Hispanic.
Yeah, you don't go like Santa Clara.
Yeah.
I'm going to Santa Clara.
This is not a good look.
Yeah, like my accent's like pretty decent when I do speak Spanish for obvious reasons. Yeah. But I would just never.
You wouldn't do it?
No, not even close. Yeah, you say San Fran. I'm not going to San Francisco.
I always just say the city because
that's the city. You know the town.
It's a good way to get around it.
The town, Oakland.
Yeah.
City, town.
There you go.
I guess the other town people call Boston.
Boston.
I don't really know why.
That's not from the Ben Affleck.
It's definitely a fucking because it's definitely a fucking city.
Yeah.
Like there's no town by there.
The town.
Like San Francisco and Oakland makes sense.
Yeah.
To call it the city and the town.
To me. Yeah, for sure. I know that we have gone out of our way to try to give you the experience of foods that you're not used to.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling super American already.
What have you had that you have liked or disliked?
I think the best thing was definitely the barbecue yesterday.
Yeah.
That made me feel like an American citizen. I always think if there's one food I could just make super macro friendly, no calories or protein, it would probably be those burnt ends. They're just incredible.
They're not too bad. You could probably run a little keto game with some burnt ends.
Maybe.
They're a little fatty. It's a little fatty cut.
Pretty sugary. It's like candy.
Yeah, they candied those, but you don't have to do that. You have burnt ends that are much more savory and no sauce, and you can definitely get in there the keto realm. That's what, tip of a tri-tip? Tip of a brisket?
Tip of a brisket, I think.
Yeah. Because they do, what's the tip of a tri-tip? I think, obviously a tri-tip. It sounds stupid, but I think they do a certain cut of a tri-tip.
You could be
something
right.
else too.
You could be right.
Tri-tips is I forgot the real cut. Because tri-tip technically, this blew my mind. I found this out in my 20s. Tri-tip is a cut of steak that is only in California.
How come?
Because they cut it slightly different and call it something different the rest of the nation.
They're culotte steaks.
So if someone says tri-tip, they're very likely from California. I was talking to Tim Kennedy about that because he's from San Luis Obispo, and they have the best tri-tip sandwich spot down there. And no one else calls it tri-tip, but it's the steak I grew up on. It's fairly cheap. It's kind of like a little roast. You could smoke it. You grill it real quick. A little fatty.
Yeah.
It's kind of because brisket's not that expensive either. I was going to say the poor man's brisket, but it's not really that either. Are you into meat like that or just food? Yeah, I know you're a fan of like the arts, you know, and that's kind of me. Like we like nice shit, and we like the culture of nice shit.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh, I like nice shit to flex. We like nice shit because we like the culture of it all, coffees and the wines, and
100%.
I'm kind of like that with steak a little bit, although you just can't do it that often, right?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you can't have $100 steak every day.
Expensive.
Yeah, all of it does. All of it does. Coffee's probably the easiest one.
So cheap. Even if you're buying expensive coffee, the bag's like 15 quid, 20
Right.
quid. Yeah.
What the fuck is quid, dude?
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
At least we think of the little golden thing that we got to chase with Harry Potter. What's that thing called?
Quidditch.
Yeah, but what's the thing?
A snitch?
Snitch.
Snitch.
Yeah.
The snitch.
Quid is
Just like it's like bucks, I guess.
It's like a shilling.
It's your shilling.
Yeah.
It's your informal way of saying like British pounds, sterling.
British
You
pounds.
wouldn't say like dollars for everything. You might say bucks, right?
Yeah,
That's
cheese, cheddar.
Sterling.
I got tons of we got tons of slang for money. Dough.
Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got more than us for sure. Like if we're saying that, it sounds really weird.
You said dough. British dough.
Absolutely not. No, wouldn't do that in a million years.
You make us feel so uncivilized. Barbarians.
No, not at all.
So I know we give you Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest. Those were slightly underwhelming. It was just more that it was kind of all sugar, and there was like not a lot of substance. I like sweet things, but there was like not really much.
When you think of that, for us, it's somewhere between like a snack and a dessert.
Yeah.
So you got to think about, you got to, I think, get in the right mindset before you eat something.
Yeah, don't judge it for something it's not.
Yeah, because it's not a dessert. No way are you going to like a nice dinner and someone's going to whip out a Pop-Tart and like, yo, here's the dessert. It's literally like somewhere, between like it's like a sweet chip,
Pretty much.
I gave him a wheat thin.
Uh-huh.
You never had a wheat thin.
That was good though.
Right?
That was good.
That's a pretty good
That
little
was a
cracker.
good snack.
Same thing. Like, what is that? It's not a chip. It's not a cracker. Yeah, it's like just snack.
So according to my reading, saltine crackers are not popular in Europe.
They're real basic. That's like the most basic wheat thin I've ever gave you.
What is it?
Okay,
It's a chip.
stand by.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Okay,
Oh, we
here
have
we
them?
go.
Oh, we brought things.
Prepared.
Snack taste.
Nice.
Yeah, saltine is like the most basic soup.
I see.
Wheat thin I gave you. Wheat thin's like the evolved Pokemon saltine.
Just crack it open. Just feel free.
you gotta
to
eat one.
Okay.
What's the challenge? This and nutmeg. Like you eat 20 of them or some shit. You can't do it.
Whistle.
Oh, whistle.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
you
put
put
it
a bunch
through
in
it.
your mouth and
I'll
try to
embarrass
whistle.
you for some content. Because they're just hella dry,
Yeah.
So my experience with saltines, it was from being a kid, and it's always when you're sick and your mom gives you 7-Up.
Yeah. If you're throwing up, you gotta
you can eat pretty
you got
much.
an upset tummy. That's just like bleached wheat, so it's
Okay.
like already broken down for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, go in.
I'm gonna go away from the mic. It's not like an
Yeah,
ASMR
that's
mic
fine.
back here.
Whatever, dude. We probably got some horny listeners that need a little ASMR in there.
Yeah,
Someone lonely on a Friday afternoon.
you just pointed half the audience by not being on mic.
Basic. Yeah.
That is so dry. Oh
Yeah.
my God,
Yeah. What is it? Yeah, you got to eat 5 of them and try to whistle.
Yeah, it's
I'm so.
not
It's
enjoying.
not that bad, dude. Now you're
It's
just being
dry.
soft.
Yeah.
It
It's
is
really
dry.
dry.
It is
Really
dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got no flavor. It tastes like salt.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still eat the whole fucking pack.
Yeah, I'll down a sleeve if necessary.
Yeah, really.
When do you think now is the time for it?
I don't know. It's a craving thing, probably.
Yeah, I'm a snacker, bro. I'm a fat. Like, if I'm about to sit down and watch a football game, I could easily grab a sleeve of that and a Diet Coke and just bang it out.
So I had originally planned something to go along with that that did not work out because I couldn't find anywhere. But I understand it's not readily available in your home country, and that's spray cheese.
Oh, that's
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
pretty like
That scares me.
80s like commercial American. You know,
Yes.
like it's probably in Wayne's World. It's definitely in the Goofy movie. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen the Goofy movie. Like his little buddy's like an addict, dude. Dudes might as well be hitting whippets out that fucking cheese shit,
No.
slamming it down his
That
face.
cheese whiz is that?
Yeah.
No,
That would even grosses me out, and I'm pretty fucking snack proof.
It's like spray Velveeta,
Yeah.
and Velveeta itself is gross
We-
unless you're making queso, in which case you need it. So
We would do some. I don't even know, because my dad by no means was hillbilly. You know, he grew up in like the city of Cleveland, and then moved to the burbs. But we'd grab these things. It feels like a hillbilly charcuterie board. We'd grab these things, and then lay out a bunch of deli meats.
Yeah.
And just kind of like sandwich them up watching football.
Fancy.
Yeah, a little turkey, a little salami, even prosciutto. We'd have like $30 prosciutto and a 1 cent fucking.
So you can see how a wheat thin is an upgrade.
Yeah, wheat thins can definitely go alone well. Like I don't even know if you put anything on a wheat thin.
Dip, maybe a little dip.
Yeah,
a little ranch, maybe a little ranch dip.
I'm out. Ranch isn't a thing. Ranch is not a thing.
Yeah, I had it for the first time literally a month ago from an American friend in London.
Yeah,
like, this is
ranch is gross.
Game changing.
No one wants it.
I don't understand the fascination with it myself. It's fine. It's fine.
How about like mayo? Is that a big thing? Mayo's huge in Argentina, I guess. Maybe I don't even know if it's my family or not, but Mom says they put mayo on everything.
Now, my understanding is that Miracle Whip is not a thing where you are.
Was that cheap mayo?
Miracle Whip it's mayo for people who don't like mayo. It's sweet.
Oh,
I probably wouldn't like it either.
It's a little.
That sounds worse in a way. I feel.
It is worse. It's so much worse. It's gross as fuck. It reminds me of the sauce that they use for donair meat in Nova Scotia. So like a shawarma kind of deal where it's okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's donair, and then there a Halifax donair is got this white sauce on it that just is so close to. It's a little bit spicy, but also very sweet.
Normally it's what, Greek based though, or yogurt based.
Yogurt based. Normally yogurt based.
That I can kind of do, but that still kills me. I don't really eat white things.
Really?
Yeah, mayo, ranch, blue cheese.
You got a reason for that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, there's really not. It just happens that all that category, blue cheese, ranch.
It's colorist.
What do other people dip in?
You're missing out. Blue cheese is amazing.
Yeah, I hate all that.
Really?
Blue cheese is amazing.
Yeah, I hate it all.
Do Americans like blue cheese?
No, yeah, everyone loves all that, bro. Ranch, blue cheese, mayo is like American as shit.
Yeah,
it's just
wings, me. Don't you? It's like a dip,
yeah, all that.
Yeah. See, I'm not fascinated by wings at all. I don't get them.
I'm fascinated by all food.
Yeah,
it's not the sauces.
No. I like a wing. I like in London. You get like a lot of Korean chicken places.
Yeah,
like Korean fried chicken.
Yeah, we have
KFC.
that.
But like Korean hot wings are pretty good.
Yeah,
get like gochujang on there.
We have a big place, Bonchon, which is starting to like grow nationwide. And Fire Wings is starting to grow at least statewide. They're both pretty good. Wings became huge. I feel like 20 years ago, kind of with the Wingstop wave, and then now they're
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, now they're moving. They went like mega commercial. Like Buffalo Wild Wings is not far from McDonald's quality. It's not very good.
No.
But then like every bar you go to though, we'll have some like they'll try to make like a good one, and then now it's starting to move to like a little more culinary Korean style, where it's still what do they call it, like casual fast or whatever the fuck.
Fast casual.
Yeah, and but they're good.
Yeah,
they're good. Yeah, I'm a boneless, bone in. I don't give a shit. I eat it all. Yeah,
boneless feels weird.
Your brain was blown, which I was a little offended by. he was ordering pizza and he never had deep dish, so I had him order Chicago Fire. Pretty solid deep dish, and again, all these stupid motherfuckers from Chicago are gonna complain, but like I know the owner, born and raised Chicago.
Yeah.
Before opening the restaurant, went back and forth like 100 times to perfect his recipe. Like, just because it's not in Chicago doesn't make it, like, not good, you idiots.
It was good. Like,
no, I know, but, no, not that part. He's going through the menu, and he said, who the hell would eat a pound of wings? Because that's like an order. And I said, well, yeah I'd probably eat 2 pounds, motherfucker.
Like, who's ordering $60 worth of wings?
Me.
Why?
Me.
Why?
Because it's delicious.
I don't get it either. Not my thing.
The serving size is here.
Yeah. All of it. And you need something sometimes if I'm going to finish a whole pizza, which I am if I'm ordering it, it's going to take me a palate adventure. I need like a halftime, and the halftime is the wings.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And then maybe you go even to like some chips or something, and then you come back to the pizza and finish it off.
You could have a whole, because I
easily.
tap out. I couldn't finish
No,
it.
easily.
Your serving
Dude,
size
you don't
is
get up.
getting
Yeah,
out of control.
I got up to 250 pounds, no muscle, easily. I didn't even think. I didn't think twice.
That's crazy.
If I didn't find this world, I'm 350 pounds.
I think same, honestly. Like I was the fat kid growing up, and I've definitely had my phases, especially when powerlifting. It kind of like gives you an excuse, like, I'm just heavier weight class.
I know. Heavy squat day tomorrow. Time to eat.
Yeah. Nothing felt better though than like squatting when I was like 230.
Yeah.
It feels good. You're like wearing a squat suit. It's just your body.
Yeah, when your hands are puffy and purple. Yeah, I feel fucking strong.
And then you go up a flight of stairs out of breath.
Yep. Haven't shit in 3 days. You know what you put in your system. Haven't had an ounce of water in a week.
Yeah, and you tell your family you're into health and fitness.
Yeah.
Everyone just laughs at you.
Yeah.
So speaking of the portion size issue, have you had mega stuff Oreos?
Yeah, we got him those Hostess and Pop-Tarts. That was the most trashy we got him.
Well,
I wanted to get him like
stand by.
Yeah, I wanted to get him like a donut.
Here we go.
Have you had an Oreo?
Yeah, but no.
Yeah.
These are mega stuff Oreos.
Yeah, it's pretty American.
Is this more than, I've had like double stuff. Is this more?
This is more than that.
Did you just hear, bro? Mega stuff.
It's
all right?
mega
Get your
stuff.
double stuff rookie shit out of here.
You guys need to get this under control.
No, this is good.
Okay.
You know what my hot take is?
This is controversial. We're stepping into controversy here.
Everyone gets mad at the Oreo take, but everyone gets mad at the term, or I feel like Americans don't even speak English anymore. Because I'll say something's overrated or underrated.
Right.
And they automatically think that I think it's bad.
Right.
Which is just not the case.
No.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone gets so mad. Oreo, here's the hot take. Oreo is the second best condiment on the planet.
Ooh.
That's a good take.
Just the stuff.
Well, just like all of it, right? Like you crunch this bitch up, throw it in ice cream, best thing you've ever had.
Yeah.
Crunch this shit up, throw it on a donut, best shit you've ever. You crunch it up, put it on anything, best shit you ever had. The best condiment of all time, salt.
Oh, salt. Yeah.
Right, has to be.
Yeah.
Mike's salt is a condiment take.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good take,
Strong.
dude. Yeah.
Strong.
I was gonna like. Are you
Cheers,
saying?
dude. Yeah.
Cheers.
Fucking Oreo pre-bench, yeah, man.
Cheers.
Extra stuffy.
I'm gonna have to. Also,
I don't know if I've had a mega stuff, to be honest.
I hadn't before either, so
Yeah.
this is a good reason to buy it. I find it very interesting that the other Oreo, like, configurations, more and less stuff, yellow cookie versus brown cookie,
Yeah.
different flavor stuffing, all of those containers have an open thing,
Oh, true.
and then you can reseal them. The mega stuff, they just assume you're going to eat the whole fucking thing in one sitting.
Because they know if you're getting that in the first place, you're pretty glad.
I wonder which Oreo has the most amount of sales. All right, here we go. Despite this array of options, the classic plain Oreo is still the top-selling variety. 2017 sales of regular Oreos topped, $710 million. Over twice as much is the next bestseller, which is the double stuff. So the double stuff had less than half of the regular.
No,
So the mega probably has nothing.
Now they have thin ones, too.
Yeah. The only way I'm doing that is if I'm throwing in ice cream. Why do you want that?
Right. I get it because it's like crispier or whatever.
Yeah, or maybe with your coffee. It's a little
Yeah.
bit more crackery. I could like dip
Yeah.
it in a coffee or
Yeah.
have it with a coffee. Well, that's something we don't really do here.
Dip stuff.
Or just like your coffee meal. Like a coffee meal here is like so fat. You're having like 3
Yeah.
donuts with your coffee.
No.
Where over
Yeah.
there you're having like one little cookie, or like one little Biscoff deal or whatever.
Yeah.
Here it's like this whole rack.
No, that for me was way too sweet. Like I think I can get behind like the thin, like the
That's
not
what-
too much stuff thing.
That's why I think it makes a good topping or like a good
Yeah.
right?
Brush it up.
Because then like ice cream kind of cuts it. Like obviously ice cream's sweet because it's a dessert, but it kind of cuts the crazy.
Yeah, you get the texture difference as well, so it's nice.
It
you
is
get
good.
an ice cream that isn't overly sweet. And
Yeah,
that's-
like a homemade ice cream is going to taste good, or like a
Yeah.
like a real ice cream.
something that's not quite as sugar forward.
Yeah, it's not going to be
Yeah.
crush your face off.
These, but see, we will put these out and they will disappear.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people eat them.
People just go right for
It is a random kind of cookie because it's like again like it's. And so my overrated take
Yeah.
is just that it is called a cookie, right? It's a cookie. It's not really a snack. And if I'm going to get like, again, being a health and fitness professional, I don't eat cookies every fucking day.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to eat a cookie, I'm going to go get a cookie.
Gonna get a nice chocolate chip, snickerdoodle,
Even like the
peanut butter.
even the chocolate chip that like hotels give you as you check in is shits on this. You know what I mean? And that's what makes it.
As an actual cookie.
If you want to call an Oreo a snack, I probably think it's properly rated. Yeah, but you can't.
It's not in the cookie category. It's
and you're not going to
falling
eat
down.
15 of these. I mean, you easily could, but
Yeah.
So sweet snack versus cookie.
yeah, we could throw this in the same category as Pop-Tart,
Yeah,
but a Pop-Tart's not
Yeah.
really a snack.
Something in between. Have it cold, have it hot.
It's
Yeah.
not really breakfast either.
Right. Yeah, even though it's like made to be
It'd
like
be
a
a breakfast food.
Yeah, pastry.
Toaster strudel, another real.
Dude, I remember having the first toaster strudel as a kid. like the frozen ass ones.
Mm-hmm.
That changed my life. I thought I was in Paris, bruh. I'm 7 years old. A beret popped on my hat. Me and my dad started talking French. That shit was luxury.
Your top has stripes on it all of a sudden.
Bro, yeah. I thought that was the most fancy shit I've ever had.
Singing Edith Piaf.
You got the little packet and you're putting the cream on the top.
Yeah.
That was crazy good. I haven't had one of those probably since I was 7. I had it once maybe in my life, and it has a, what do they call, core memory.
Yeah. I cannot believe this is breakfast food.
That, I mean, I don't eat, even all breakfast food in America is so fat. Like a stack of pancakes.
Yeah.
Like that'll crush you. But that's probably part of the reason I don't eat breakfast, because I get too tired from what we consider breakfast.
Do people like actually do that daily?
Oh yeah.
They're like hit an IHOP, which I finally learned what that stands for, by the way.
Yeah, you learn. See, you're learning a lot on this trip, dude.
International House of Pancakes, right?
We're opening your cultural and mental vocab to create better in your job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think families eat pancakes on the daily. I don't know if they'll go to IHOP, but I think a family could easily whip out pancakes and eat it. French toast, all waffles. Waffles for sure. Eggos. You know what an Eggo waffle is? You know what a waffle is?
Yeah.
So we have an Eggo waffle, which is kind of like a Pop-Tart version of a waffle, and you'd throw it in a toaster and whip it out, and they're actually pretty solid for a frozen food. Stupid cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple flavors, blueberry, chocolate, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty normal. Kyle slams them every day. Obviously, he's bulking, so it's a little different. But
He's a freak, you know?
Yeah, I think kids eat that regularly.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, even cereal.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Cereal's a
cereal is-
literal sugar bomb.
Yeah.
Right? And then you do whole milk and that. Now you just got to fucking, might as well have ice cream.
Yeah, I think like kids would kind of prefer that, right?
Calorically,
Yeah.
a big bowl of, and I'm going to sound like, the hippie anti-sugar guy today, but, I'm not. But you do a big bowl of cereal and a whole milk topping. That's calorically is a pint of ice cream for breakfast.
Could not do that.
Oh, I could.
I never really did that either.
Yeah. I didn't even eat kid. I invented intermittent fasting. Little did people know. I didn't eat breakfast as a kid either.
You were the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have like about tons of anxiety issues, and that's probably why I talk so much to cover them. And I had stomach aches as a kid. I would be super late to school all the way to like 5th grade because I had stomach. My mom took me to the doctor all the time, thinking I'm like, I got some internal issues because my stomach aches were so bad. I like wouldn't leave. And hindsight, I think it was all anxiety driven, but that started a habit since like I was 6 to never eat breakfast. Hence, I invented IF. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've agreed on this. I think that like breakfast is probably the most redundant meal.
Yeah.
Like just skip it, have more calories for later.
Even oatmeal like doesn't fill me up.
Nope.
I gotta eat a shit ton of it. I do love it, but I would have to eat a shit ton of it in the morning.
I don't love it.
I don't know why I low-key love it. I could eat it plain, no sugar, no nothing. We could go peanut butter.
So bland.
Yeah, it really is, and I love it. But that's it, dude. I'm telling you, I could eat a whole sleeve of these fucking
I could do that.
saltines for some reason.
I could
too.
do that.
Yeah.
And I guess like the consistency of a saltine in your mouth is not that much different than oatmeal if you put salt on it, which is kind of the
For
way
sure.
that I've eaten
dry
it.
paste.
Yeah.
A builder would
That's
use.
kind of the beauty of these things. It starts off like a beautiful crunchy chip, and then it ends in a nice oatmeal texture. You kind of get both.
Feels like cement in the back of your mouth. Just
Yeah, I kind of
pretty
like
much,
that.
yeah.
I kind of like that too.
Can't be doing
I
that.
do have like an oral thing going on,
Yeah.
My lucky wife, whenever she shows up.
Whenever.
Yeah, I don't know where she is. She's got to be here somewhere.
She's out there.
She's on the universe.
Yeah.
9 billion people. There's got to be one that'll love me.
You can do it.
Thanks,
I
dude.
believe in you.
But I love just snacking. I'll eat a whole veggie tray. I'm an addict. If there's a tray of celery and carrots here, I'm not stop eating it.
I feel like snacking is like a very American thing, though.
Maybe for sure.
It probably is. Now, I just observationally, I don't think I have ever seen as many fat people in London or Paris or
bitch.
whatever
We're turning the table on you.
than we that we have here in our major cities. Like
yeah.
I think most people are not as fat.
I thought you were coming with they got
No.
over your
Oh,
trips.
no. I think maybe it's equalizing a little bit.
Yeah,
but
you fat fuck.
But for the most part, walking around, I don't see now.
But because you just said it. Walking around.
Walking around
Here,
yeah.
we're driving around and see fat people.
I cannot, like, the car dependency.
Yeah. It is crazy.
That particularly this last trip I took to Europe, I think, man, we failed like 150 years ago by not investing more in our railroad infrastructure.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Wasn't that like literally Henry Ford lobbying to like build more?
Yeah, of course. And the gas
more
companies
roads
now still do it, and then the electric company's going to do it now because they're going to fight for electric cars. Yeah, it's all business. We are spread out. What I wonder is if we could run a government experiment. And I know we do those anyway, so might as well do one that's legal. And we just chose a city. Like, what state doesn't really have, like, cities? Like, even, like, Utah.
Most of them.
Yeah, right? Like, don't
honestly,
have.
Most
they
of
all
them,
have, like, one, right? So let's choose, like, a corner of Utah or a corner of Colorado, and let's build a new city, and let's make it, like 98% pedestrian.
You're going to have lots of public transport as well?
Yeah, we can have a little trolley. I don't give a fuck what we put in there, but yeah. But mostly walking. I'd prefer mostly walking.
Yeah,
and find a way cycling.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is like you need to have like your amenities in like a walkable.
But I wonder all of it like goes down. You know, if it's tied to like obviously sun exposure and D3 have a huge thing with mood in people. I think exercise, like hard exercise, obviously has some correlation to mood and aggression and mental health. But I even think, obviously, being at a healthier body weight, body fat is going to help your confidence in your mental health. There's just no...
Yeah.
I can't pull out an exact PubMed for y'all, but there's correlations everywhere. Yeah. So then why wouldn't a pedestrian city probably be, like, safer?
Yeah, I think it'd be like a happier place to
right?
be, for sure.
If I'm stoked with how I look, if I feel good, I'm getting the sun, if I'm walking everywhere... I'm just way less likely to like stab you.
Yeah, and you just have no road rage either.
Right.
So, like,
yeah.
Road rage is pent up.
I do. I don't know, dude. I get a little bit of walk rage. Really? I probably get more walk rage than I get. I don't really get road rage on my bicycle or driving. I'm pretty cool behind the whip. You know, when you listen to Tupac and shit. Yeah, but you just chilling. Walking though, like airports.
Okay. No, I'm with you on that.
Bro, people piss me the fuck off.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, they're so bad. Slow walkers, bad walkers, like in your way, like people weaving in front of me, but then they walk slow.
No one has any awareness.
They won't even, now big airports, I was stuck in Chicago airport for like way too long, million delays. And people aren't even walking on the rights and lefts like properly. Like there's just a general rule, at least over here, buddy.
Yeah.
We walk on the right.
Opposite.
Yeah, which is fine too. But then I'll adapt. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you should just generally walk on the side of the road that you would drive on. These motherfuckers. And then if you're a group of 10 people, you're not allowed to walk next to each other. That should be a law.
Yeah, 100%.
We should just put that in stone. Moses should have put that as 11.
Yeah, that would have been
like
11.
Stop. Like they're walking down like they're like going to arrest me. Then how do you get by them? And that's like just so common. That pisses me the fuck off.
Or if you're going to stop and look at your phone or you need to orient yourself or whatever, step out of the flow of traffic for fuck's sake.
No, the law would be that if you're walking with movement, staring at your phone, I'm allowed to shoulder check you.
I think that should be
with
allowed.
no repercussion.
It's like in London, they're like on the tube, you do have like on the escalators going up and down. Left is like going fast, right? So just standing and looking at your phone.
Yeah.
People do obey that, generally
That's
speaking.
good.
Yeah, they do.
That's because you guys are proper.
Yeah, proper. But there is nothing worse than just like touristy busy central. That I can't understand. And we get a lot of it. I just walk on the roads instead in London because the traffic's so slow. Like it's usually
typically
in central.
That's the one thing about like bicycling, right? You can kind of weave and manipulate. I can ride kind of in the road or the bike lane depending how traffic goes. Yeah. And same with cars. Like I don't mind. Shitty drivers don't really piss me off. Shitty walkers. Holy fuck. Most annoying thing on the planet.
Absolutely. That's why I like cycle around London. Like if you look up, if you're in like the sort of the central zones, I'm gonna beat you anywhere.
Yeah.
On a bike. Doesn't have to be a good one. It can be like the city bikes, like in New York, just those kind of, you pay and you take them out. They're really heavy and clunky. You're still gonna beat someone anywhere.
Yeah, it is convenient. And then parking and shit. Parking in the city sucks. But I would love an experimental pedestrian only. Like the little part they're supposed to build near a soccer stadium. They had spoke about making it like mostly pedestrian. Yeah. So you'd park, I think, way on the outside, and then all the roads and stuff. Obviously, it's not a city; it's more of like a extended outdoor mall kind of thing. Yeah. But still, they wanted to make it
city walk.
Yeah, make it very city walkable.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool to see like this city you're talking about coming up in America, but like European urban planning.
Yeah.
A 15-minute city, so you walk 15 minutes anywhere, you have everything you need, and maybe a few canals there.
Yeah.
An actual like bus or tram system.
It is crazy to see cities that do that well and then don't. Like Vegas does it so well. It's all driven. Obviously, you still need a car, but you can literally get anywhere with anything, anywhere in the city, in like 20 minutes.
That's good.
You can get to like the northern peak all the way down to like where the airport is, the southern peak, in 20 minutes perfectly. Get to the strip, 20 minutes. Grocery stores, obviously, even more convenient. They have them everywhere, 5 minutes. But like, it feels like it was actually planned.
Yeah. Do you think like because it's getting so popular, like everyone's moving there?
Yeah.
Do you think it's gonna get too big? To the
No.
point that there's not gonna be. It's gonna be like 25, 30, 45 minutes.
No, they're like so into like Nevada and Vegas are so into how they expand.
Yeah.
Like even the state of Nevada has rules on how many people can live and move there versus how much natural land there is, because it's already 90% like just elk running around on like the flats, and they want to keep it that way.
Good.
Desert and
It literally is.
Mountain
It's desert. It's desert mountains, the whole state.
Keep a bit of wildlife there.
Yeah, and so I think that's like literally written in their like state code. Like you're not changing that shit. And then same with where the housing goes.
Yeah.
They have a lot of rules. They have rules like in our neighborhood on like the lumens, on how the street lights, how bright they could be, to not have like light pollution and shit.
Yeah.
It's just it's not like genius. It's just like a little bit of thought.
Yeah. Common sense.
Yeah.
I wish we had more of the lumen stuff in London. Cause you can't really see the stars unless you go out to like the further out bits. You go out to the countryside.
Here in Sacramento, particularly the part of Sacramento that I live in, there is a particular style of street light that has been around since the neighborhoods were built in the late 40s and early 50s and on. But they retrofitted a bunch of them, I don't know, within the last 10 years or so. And they basically replicated them. But what they could easily have done, because they're open, the light goes everywhere.
Yeah.
What they could easily have done is coat the inside of the tops with silver so that light wasn't going up.
Yeah.
It was just going out where people can actually use it.
Makes sense.
But they didn't do that. There was like no thought in it at all. And the other thing that they didn't do is the urine repelling paint. That
For like dogs or something?
Yes, because all the ones that they have replaced are starting to rust out at the bottom because dogs pee on them.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's not great. I feel like no one needs the light going up. Just put it down the street.
Yeah, nobody needs the light going up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what city's like super well planned out here. Vegas, so far, of all the cities I've been to, seem that way. But it's obviously still very car dependent.
100%. I think on the flip side of that, like the absolute worst design city I've ever been to was LA.
Probably.
I remember going there for the first time thinking like, this can't be real. Just getting around is impossible without a car. And
spider web of freeways.
Yeah.
And something that is 5 miles away can take an hour, No,
it took hours to get to. Like, when I went last, I wanted to see all the gyms. I was staying in like West Hollywood, so it was kind of like, I guess, central-ish to like some of the locations. Like going out to Bar Brigade took ages. It took like an hour and a half to get to Brad's gym.
Yeah. He's like, outside LA.
I know he's like outside LA, but then
Calabasas.
it took like an hour and a bit to get to Gold's Venice.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, those are like a big triangle, those three in particular, which sucks because then you got to drive through downtown. I mean, Sac really isn't planned that well either. Like, we don't really have like freeways, like our interstates, and they just happen to go through our city. You know what I mean? Like, there's like freeways are supposed to be convenient to get you places, and ours don't get us anywhere.
Yeah.
You know? Because they're made to go from LA to Seattle and San Francisco to Boston.
Yeah.
Those are like our two freeways.
You got a pretty neat grid once you're in the city though.
Downtown is the only, even creeping into where Jim lives, like East Sacramento and then the one suburb south of Sacramento. Those three are kind of planned on a grid-ish.
You guys love a grid.
It's just, it does make it easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's planned pretty good. The Capitol kind of messes it up because it's so big. So then, because you'll dead end and you'll have to wiggle your way around that. But once you know it, I mean, like, Manhattan, right? Manhattan's easy to get around for a reason.
Yeah, 100%. Like that was. I went to Manhattan for the first time, like Easter, and it was actually kind of nice. You don't have to look at maps. Like, it's like 3 blocks that way, 1 block that way. You good?
Yeah, next to this park, and the park's big enough that you know what the fuck it is, and you hit it, and you move to the left. Yeah, it is really nice. I don't know why the rest of America's absolutely fucked. San Francisco's impossible to get around.
Yeah, it just depends. Like if you're trying to get out into the neighborhoods, that's not easy without taking a streetcar. But there's at least that system. You know? And it's not
the
perfect,
roads are all twisty though.
The roads are very twisty.
There's a couple that'll run you from like the mountains down to like the tourist area, but a lot of other ones are kind of like angled weird.
Yeah. Montreal's pretty good.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean anywhere that's not America's probably decent.
Yeah, yeah. I found, jumping back to the other side of the pond, I found Edinburgh very walkable.
Yeah, Edinburgh's quite. I've only been there once, and like the central bit, because that's kind of like Edinburgh's one of those places that has like a nice little bit like Oxford. Like you have like a really pretty old town. Like,
yeah,
it feels very.
There's Old Town and New Town. New Town is older than America, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But then there are like those suburby bits which you probably want a bus or maybe a car. But yeah, it feels so magical and old just in that sort of. The Royal Mile, I suppose, in that whole area, and it's nice.
Or a broomstick.
Yeah, because that is where J.K. Rowling wrote most of Harry Potter. I think there's like a cafe and people go to it. Loads of Harry Potter fans.
Was kicking it.
Yeah, because and you look around, and it doesn't feel very kind of magical. Yeah,
interesting. We don't have a lot of magic here.
I did see the train, the Hogwarts train.
Exactly, that's all up in Scotland, I think.
Yeah, it's up north, up in the Highlands.
Yep. And I mean, Sacramento has a bit of a rail history, don't you?
We do, yes.
It doesn't feel that magical, though.
Yeah.
I wish it did.
More industrial.
Yeah, they do like little events, which are cool. Like they do like a Mother's Day tour. I took my mom on that once. Do like a little brunch on a train, or I don't think it's here. Cool. I think the magical trains are like the Redwoods. We have like is a skunk train. There's like some trains out there that do like
one of them,
like wine tours through the Redwoods.
Oh.
Which is like 2 hours from us, maybe. And that stuff, I think I went on as a kid, and I've seen, just videos. That looks pretty magical.
That I would do.
Because a lot of movies and shit are filmed there. North of us and to the coast is like Return of the Jedi. A lot of the fight scenes in those redwoods where they're screaming around with the Ewoks. A lot of that's there. Jurassic Parky type things.
Oh, cool.
Maybe even some
Muir Woods is where that was filmed.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. A lot of that shit's up north of us is really pretty. And just literally forests forever. Mm-hmm. That's why marijuana grows up there. They just hid up there,
hide it.
Yeah, literal.
Well, not anymore. It's legal, isn't it?
Yeah, if you do it legal.
How do you do it? Legal versus illegal?
Like filing your business, filing taxes. Yeah. There's actually a pretty good documentary called Murder Mountain. It used to be on Amazon Prime because literally, 80-90% of, I don't think the world, but America or North America's marijuana is grown in Northern California. And the documentary follows a couple farmers during the transition of it becoming recreationally legal, and which ones like, dude, I've been doing this 30 years.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden now you're going to take 50% of my income. Yeah. So which ones decided to do it legally, which ones decided to do it illegally, and the violence and weirdness that kind of comes about that. Yeah. It literally is just a remote place. 'Cause I always thought it was the soil or some shit, like because growing up you just know up there it's called Humboldt County. But I heard it was literally just because of kind of, I think, the hippies in the 70s and the San Francisco stuff. They just found an area that's so remote, no one would F with them, and started building these ranches. There's actually nothing that special about it up there.
I mean, fair play. Just let them do that.
Yeah,
thing,
but it's done it for like the last, 70 years.
Yeah, our northern coast is kind of it's pretty temperate, and so kind of things just grow. There are things you can grow there that you can't grow in the other parts of the state.
It does look.
It's not true weed, but other stuff for sure.
Yeah, it does look kind of Jurassic. Like things do look overgrown, and like the redwoods are as big as this room. Like the vines are giant. Like shit just looks. It is kind of like a northern hemisphere rainforest.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go up to those bits.
That's cool, man. Obviously Portland and what's the big one west of Seattle? Olympia. Yeah, like that's an insane looking rainforest national park. But yeah, basically anything above us, you start to get kind of in that vibe. Where here you're still hot and a little valley-ish.
Hot and dry.
I feel like California has such an incredible variance of temperatures and climate.
Insane.
Like if you go the same sort of, I mean, I know the UK is nowhere near as big, but like we don't have that.
Yeah.
Talking about it with you earlier, it's very there's not a whole load of variance.
Yeah.
Like cold and warm.
No, we literally have it all. We held the Olympics in Tahoe.
Yeah.
Snow, beautiful mountains, and then you go 6 hours south of that, and you're in I think it's still the hottest place on the planet.
Death Valley.
Yeah.
I think though that I think you experience more weather variability in the course of a day than we do by
100%.
a lot.
Yeah. California is a little bit like that. You go to like Vegas or San Diego gets a little weird because you're getting towards the equator. Florida will be cold in the morning for some reason, then 90 degrees and humid, and then all of a sudden you're in a thunderstorm. You get some random shit. Boston gets a little random sometimes, a little more extreme.
That is the one thing I do not enjoy about London is like you step outside and the weather will just can start raining instantly. Always have an umbrella with you. Leather shoes, whatever. Yeah, it's not great.
So obviously this is just our compare and contrast essay today. Gyms.
Yeah.
So obviously you've been to some good gyms here in the United States, in California in particular.
Absolutely.
And obviously you've probably been to some good ones back home.
Some kind of like a different style, I'd say. Yeah, there's definitely like I think there's kind of fewer of the nice community gyms. Like London definitely has kind of those gyms you'd have in New York. Like you have like your Equinoxes. We have like quite like bougie gyms, really upscale. And you can have like I know a lot of people who do powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting, and they'll have like Alico bumpers, Alico bars. There's like one of the GB national champions who was back in the day in my university barbell team. She now trains at one of those gyms as well, and they have a little like weightlifting club out of that bougie gym, as opposed to there being like a weightlifting gym. And there is one. There's like London Weightlifting Academy that's very good for that, but there's less of those. Certainly, like there are none really by those like content creators.
Yeah, none like branded
whereas
like
in LA, it's like everyone here. There's the beautiful gym at 3rd Street. Congratulations again on building that. It's great to like finally see that and see all the hard work you guys poured into that and just see how it's manifested and the community there as well. And there was one in London that I really liked, but just didn't make it through COVID. I remember like Brett Gibbs came through there, and
cool.
Before Sheffield was postponed, that's where I was like, that's where I think people are going to stop off on the way to London and up. And there's a couple, there's like Physical Culture, but they're a bit weird, and London's a huge place, so it's kind of hard to actually get around to.
You do wonder why that is, because there's obviously content creators from around the world. Obviously, a bunch of them, just like Hollywood and stuff, do stem from America, sure. But there is YouTubers and Instagrammers successful, especially Instagram and TikTok, successful everywhere. Powerlifting, like I bet per capita is just as popular over there as here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was.
We have 25,000 USAPL members. That's not that many.
Yeah.
How many fucking people are in America?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. A billion?
No, I don't think so.
I bet we're creeping.
Is it a couple hundred mils, I think?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. LA's 10 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're Houston's 20 million. Yeah, we're creeping.
No, I think like the British Powerlifting Federation is much smaller though. Like the production.
But that's what I mean per capita though.
Yeah, per capita.
Per capita, I bet you powerlifting's just as popular. Because when you're talking business, like we talk all the time, it's just per capita.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. It's what you can give to your community.
Yeah.
Like sure, like bumfuck nowhere city in the islands can't build a Nike, but you could build a sneaker store that 100 of your people buy.
Exactly.
California is 39 million.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, but nationwide, whatever. Per capita, right? So then I wonder if it's a cultural thing, if it's a money thing, if it's a entrepreneur. That's kind of like one topic I wanted to dive in with you is like entrepreneuring being cool. I wonder if that's more American. And so random people, because there's even people that aren't like big influencers or, a bunch of people build gyms and try to build a brand around a gym and try to, I'm biased, but lack of a better sake, replicate what maybe a Barber Brigade has done. Yeah. You build a gym, you build a brand, you build a community, you build that hardcore style gym that is actually commercial.
And they will come. Yeah.
Right?
You build the village and they'll come.
Yeah. And so you think, but I can't think of many in any country. I think there's maybe one in Japan. We have one in Hawaii that's starting to do it.
Yeah.
But you look at these more remote places.
Is that Yukio? That
yeah.
One? Yeah. That looks really cool.
It does look cool. Or like, other countries, CrossFit did it in a way. I know CrossFit's really big in like Latin America and shit. But I wonder why there's not more branded things like that in like Europe.
Yeah, I think
there's no way it does bad.
No, like it's not a bad thing at all. Like there's great gyms, there's great communities in those gyms, but you're right, there's none of like the creator focused ones.
Or community focused, it sounds like. Right? It sounds
like a couple. There's a new one called Gym Nation in London Bridge, quite like an accessible area, which is really, really great.
Yeah.
And I know like that's kind of where the people I know sort of go in London now, but yeah, it's a little bit tough.
You think starting business over there or an entrepreneur culture is just less?
Maybe.
Or more difficult?
I think there's definitely, the American dream aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm also probably biased. Like, there's probably people in London and UK doing that, but just, as you know, like 99% of my clients are in the US.
Yeah.
Content creation sphere. So.
But you're into branding and into fitness. I think you'd hear about them. And I try to keep my ear as close to the fucking road as I can. I haven't heard of any.
Yeah.
So you think maybe the American dream, because I don't even know if it's American dream anymore, because that's moved so many different ways. Like the American dream went from being like safe, secure job, family, house, to now like private jet, Lamborghini.
Yeah. I blame social media.
I blame, like
bootstrapped into it.
Dave Balzerian and shit.
Yeah.
It's for social media. But do you think like America's like more like, like vulnerable to the social media
maybe
thing?
I think it's just, another example of everything's bigger in America.
Yeah.
It's things get a bit more like extreme, I feel. And it used to be like, I think like, what people think is like a good salary has changed so much, and not with like the rate of what a good salary is. And
for sure.
Everyone wants to be a business owner or have owner and then add a brand in their bio.
Yeah, CEO's like a cool thing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's what Gary Vee's been regurgitating for the past 5 years.
That's what I wondered. Has Gary Vee just not penetrated y'all's brains as hard?
I think he has. Cause I told you, like, he popped up onto like my feed like 6 years ago, which kind of did get me starting down this path. Which
that's how we met.
It is indeed. But
thanks, Gary.
Shout out.
I'll email him, dude.
I do find him intensely annoying. And
I won't email him.
Yeah. No, I can't like watch his stuff. But you just, it's one of those things where it's like you can take what you want from something and you can leave it. Like it's not it's not religion. You don't have to agree with all of it.
And you don't have to watch it all. You can
absolutely.
learn some and not all.
I saw like one thing, and he was kind of explaining like the idea of how to get started with nothing, which is what I sort of, relatively speaking,
a good cold call message, a little guerrilla marketing vibe.
Exactly, how to do that, and then it was just that's all you need. Took it and left it.
Yeah, and now you're working, Barbara Brigade. You want to mention your resume a little bit? Shout yourself out, dude. Yeah, thanks, fucking hit them.
Yeah, So I'm a designer mostly in the kind of like fitness space, content creation space. And like currently work with Barbara Brigade and people like Ricky and One Hand, and have worked with people like Russ and Steffi Cohen. And
you help build all our basics, our whole branding model. The bear itself is all your brain power.
Yeah, it's good fun. I mean, I've done stuff other than that as well. But that's kind of what I really enjoyed, because that's what I was definitely a consumer of, especially at the time I started thinking about it. And I always thought it'd be fun to work in a space that I consume myself. Yeah. So then it wouldn't feel so much like work, but rather like this is something I'm already in and understand, and I could do market research by just seeing which of the 1,000 powerlifters from the UK I followed whoever, and that gave me a decent understanding of like, okay, this is their kind of audience.
And you knew the culture.
Yeah, which makes it easier to appreciate. And like I say, it's not that I wouldn't do research, and I've done stuff in markets I don't know and have researched that intensely, but it felt more natural. It felt easier.
That was a topic that I've thought about or want to bring up too, is like, because I tell people that too, like, and I don't know, because most jobs I've had within fitness, I do like a little bit of everything, kind of every career I've ever had, besides the commercial gym. The commercial gym I worked at, I was pretty strict trainer, front desk. But everywhere other job in fitness, I've kind of done from marketing to product development to sales itself to content to design. I've done it all. Admin, managing. Because you tell people like, all right, you're an accountant. Like, well, why don't you go work in the industry that you like? Yeah. Right? You're an accountant and you like to lift. Go do some money pushing for Equinox or whatever, right? 100%. But I do wonder if that's kind of like, not wrong, but like not fulfilling. Your job, because you're actually creating and culture branding what you know about something matters. Yeah. But when you're an accountant, he's still just doing ones and O's. I wonder if he gets excited to write off a barbell versus writing off something he doesn't like. Probably not, right? But you're creating around a story, a feeling. Creation is about feeling, storytelling. Mm-hmm. It's about people. Creating's purely about people, right? Art is about people. Products, if you're doing it right, should be about people, not the product. Yeah, absolutely. And so what you do makes sense that your passion and knowledge of a culture go to it. But like, say you're like a detailer, like you're really good at like fabricating or something. Like, do you care if you're fabricating a tower or if you're fabricating a car?
No, I know what you mean.
I don't know if it's fulfilling. Yeah, I think it might just be the creation world.
Yeah, and I think I'm definitely lucky with that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to speak to those those other bits of it. But it's it's helpful sort of being a part of the culture, for lack of a better term, and definitely was more so sort of a few years ago. Do a little bit less just powerlifting now, but I was watching all that content from like 2013 onwards. Like I said, I kind of remember there being like the divide of the years of people I knew in the uni powerlifting club who knew Barbell Brigade and like those who didn't, and were like really the kind of the Zoomers. Yeah, and just
you're a Zoomer.
I'm on the edge. I'm like by definition on the borderline.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What are you, 25?
Going to be soon. Yeah. So
I didn't know that. Yeah. Because I don't know where the line is. I think I'm dead middle millennial. What's after me? Straight to Zoomer? Probably. So then, like, if you're on the edge, lower millennials, probably 26, 27.
I've heard some people call it Gen Zennial, which is,
it's Gen Z.
It's like a bit of both, but
like Jarlick.
Absolutely.
The TikTokers, dude. TikTokers with no fucking work ethic. That's what you are.
Exactly.
You a Gen Z? Damn. He works hard, though.
He does.
You do, too.
Does. Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Well, there's a couple good gems in there. Sebas is a fucking Zoomer. You're a Zoomer, dude.
I am I'm a cusp boomer. I'm this like right in the last 2 years of the boom.
You got the good house prices.
I did. Yeah, my house is worth like 4 times what I paid for it now, at least.
Yeah, we just kind of have to like accept and push off the fact that like that's a later.
Or even like being born in London, you probably just like that might be some American shit too. You probably don't even think about buying a house.
I mean,
because you're not buying it in London.
People do, and people think about it, but it's very much like outskirts London. Because London is huge. Like Manhattan is, it's like landlocked.
Yeah, I think if you grow up in Manhattan, you're not thinking about buying a house.
Yeah. I know.
Or you're moving to live the
apartment.
Dream. Yeah,
maybe,
even then, I don't know.
Even then,
like, Manhattan, I don't even know what that costs.
You like Jersey City and I don't know, drive in or something.
Yeah,
but it's
even Jersey City, bro. That's probably a $2 million apartment at this point.
And that's where you get the good views as well. I see like
videos,
people in there. And you get a view of the city.
Yeah, I see some of that shit pop up on TikTok, like a $60 million penthouse in New York. Like holy. You get one side of your house like just staring out over Manhattan, the other side of the house staring over
Central
Grand Park.
Or
yeah. You're just like, what the hell? Yeah, other side, you're looking at Jersey. Crazy. How much money do you have to buy a $60 million apartment, basically? It is a nice apartment, but it's an apartment.
Yeah. I feel like people aren't mortgaging that either. You know what I mean? You don't be like, I'll put 20% down. I can my salary. It's like,
mega loans start to get weird, but I think people do. Because the amount of money you'd have to have, because they're not making that their mega. I mean, even Elon, right? Like Elon might not have $60 million just sitting in cash, right? Like what makes him so rich is everything he owns.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the 60 cash just to throw down.
Unless he sees a nice penthouse he likes.
Who knows? Yeah, they know more about taxes and dipping and dodging than I do for sure. So he might.
A lot of those really expensive apartments are multi-level too. They're not. Just
they're like 2 stories, or they're the entire building, right? So it's like a block worth.
Yeah.
Still, I'm not saying it's not worth because it's probably 6,000 square foot and whatever, but like, that's not your prime residence.
No.
Who the hell's choosing that?
Probably not.
Yeah. Oprah.
I feel like it would take like 4 minutes to like.
It'd be.
Door and go outside.
Well, imagine, yeah, you got to do a hike just to find your own elevator to find wherever the fuck you're going.
I want to actually test something or look at something real quick here. Population of London versus all of England.
Oh, y'all probably have what?
I have no idea.
60% of England?
It's pretty. It's not really 60%, but like it's pretty population.
Yeah.
So there's definitely like a slight feeling of resentment.
So it's about probably roughly 9 million in London.
Okay.
And
all right. So that's like what, LA ish.
So all of England, 55.98 million.
20%?
Yeah, just shy 20%.
And if you do
big,
some United Kingdom,
pretty big.
67 million.
That's like Toronto, right? Toronto's fucking 40% of Canada or some shit.
Total US 332 million.
Shit.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, like London does have a nice like buzz about it. Like I go to some European cities and it's not quite as dense. Like Berlin, for example. It's never like that dense. Like you can't really see many people around. It's because it's like only a few mil, but in a relatively like similar size. But London is just huge and sprawling, and the actual like outskirts of London are so far beyond what a tourist would ever like go and see. And that's why like you can like buy in London, but it would just be far out. But thankfully we have a good enough like subway transport, underground tube system.
Yeah, you can get there. The tube.
You can get there. Exactly.
Or the double bus, dude, with the fucking witch head that's screaming
buses,
at you.
Yeah.
What are those things called? The voodoo doll.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some buses in London are literally like that. Like buses can be, because we have night buses. If you're getting back from something late at night out, you go on a night bus, and those are scary sometimes. Like you see some interesting things. People, probably need some sort of like help or medical attention.
Yeah.
Who are just like letting loose.
That's
on
you.
this bus. Yeah, I got
too many brews, buddy.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty responsible with it. But you get those double-decker buses, right? And then you kind of there's a route up at both ends of the bus. I was on there once on a night bus, and there was just this screaming woman who was just chasing me around for an entire stop.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was really glad there was like a route down.
That stuff freaks me out, bro. I'm out.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. But at least she couldn't have a gun. That's the one nice thing about the UK.
That's or a knife. That's or any kind of other weapon.
If you stay outside of like knife range in UK, then you're good. So that's
I'm still out. I don't want someone screaming at me. Trying to go grab a McFlurry at midnight, bro. I'm not trying to get fucked with.
I think you just get that door dashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys love a DoorDash for
Come on,
anything.
man. Convenience, dude.
The most extensive DoorDash I've ever seen was the McDonald's in Glasgow.
Really?
Yes. It's like they have all these orders, and then people just coming in like
it's a machine.
Yeah.
McDonald's is still, obviously huge in UK.
Yeah.
Like the ones that are open late in London, like there's a few of them, and they have like security, and they're playing like classical music to try and keep everyone calm, and it'll be like 3 a.m.
So everyone's drunk.
And everyone's just
Lord.
Brits treat drinking like a sport, and
It does. They do, yes.
It's kind of
What's the
insane.
gig? Fancy cocktails?
Just kind of
Like here it's beer, right? Like if we had to choose like what's fucking American, even SAC, right? It's all the breweries.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking beer.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you think Ireland, you think fucking beer. Like what do you think when you think? And obviously you've worked in that world too.
Yeah. So before the whole design game was bartending, worked in a cocktail bar like that. That's kind of like be my choice, like a nice cocktail.
Yeah.
Also because it's just, I don't know, I never feel like the same kind of way if I've had a few cocktails versus having a few beers the next day is a bit more
bloaty.
A bit bloaty, all that like volume as well.
Yeah, the intestinal
Yeah.
adventure is a little different.
But you have a lot of those like just bars, those kind of generic bars in London. If people are staying out until 4, you're gonna get like, there'll be some beers, there'll be some really cheap, awful cocktails that are just kind of sugar, and everyone drinks them and is then.
I just think of James Bond, I guess,
Yeah, I think that's kind of the public image we'd like to maintain.
Yeah.
But maybe like.
But you're actually just fucking light beer, dollar draft drunks.
Kind of.
Yeah, bastards.
I used to live in like the kind of like downtowny kind of bit. Well, like the Brooklyn equivalent, as I'd probably like the best, equivalent. And midday Saturday, people falling over drunk, like you see like sick and stuff down the street.
That's something you don't really see a lot here. Like if I rode my bike around at like midnight downtown and we went by the bars, you definitely see some like loud people.
Yeah,
you might see like one person stumbling around or something, but you definitely see some like people screaming across the road or like hopping on one of those scooters and kind of scooting around. You might see a fight or two, but I don't know about like pass out. Or like
crazy.
Yeah, like throwing up in the bush type shit.
Yeah, I mean, you got some
I'm sure, but
yeah, I mean, it's just
it more turns into rage here. I think maybe it turns into sickness where you're from.
Yeah, or shootings, stabbings.
Yeah,
Plenty of that. We're so close to Old Sac, and like weekends at night, Old Sac.
Yeah, a little rowdy.
Not the place to be.
Yeah, like what all like parents say and shit is just so true. Like what good's happening after 11 p.m. Like it's probably just America.
Music, some good music.
Yeah, but good music can happen at 10.
This is true, but unfortunately,
Guns N' Roses.
But
Guns N' Roses goes on at 8:30 this weekend.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
We're talking about good music though. Did you shave your leg?
Yeah, it's like a long story.
It looks really clean. It looks
time.
like you're about to get a tattoo.
It is clean. So I was with my family, and so all my cousins are more like uncle age. So a lot of my cousins are 50s, 60s. So then their kids are just below me. Their kids are teens and early 20s. And I was shuttling them around. I think I was picking up dinner for the whole family. Like our family, when we do get together, is pretty big, because I got dad had 6 sisters. They all had 6 kids, and then they all have kids, right? So we got a pretty big Italian bunch. So I'm whipping around, picking up pizza or something, and I take a couple of them with me. And they're the Zoomers. And we know, Zoomers are fucking soft. And so, I go on like an uncle rant to them. Just let them know how soft they are. And then I get back, And they're most of their like dad, or one of the ones I'm closest with, is my godfather, and he's 50, he's 55, and he always took care of me when I went out there. You know, he was the cousin, but felt like the uncle, where he was like in his 20s, 30s when I was a kid, and he would take me to the toy store and grab one of everything or one of anything, take me to the ice cream. So I'm taking now his kids around, you know, talking shit. And he's like, oh, like, Cousin Michael, how was the trip? I was like, good, man. But this generation, bro, is so fucking soft.
Any opportunity.
Yeah, and so then the one little cousin, the youngest now, she's 17. She was there that didn't come with us. And she said, like, we're soft, you know? Like, what makes you so tough? And then I go on another rant in front of everybody about doing hard shit. And, like, I'll do whatever you want. Like, I fucking do hard shit every day. Like, what you got? And, you know, a 17-year-old girl brain. It's like, oh, well, like, let me wax you then if you're so tough. Yeah, so you fucking wax me. Like, you think I'm fucking scared of that? So then I drive her, and we go to CVS. She gets a wax kit. My cousin Danny, shout out cousin, is bald. And so I first sit down, I pull my sock down, thinking she'll do my ankle. Then I'll just cover it in socks. And she just warms that thing up and slaps it dead middle of my calf. And she's filming it. And I was like, all right, well, here we go. She rips it, and her brain was blown that I didn't, like, make a face. I didn't say nothing. Because it didn't hurt, but, like, again, like, joking aside, I have done hard shit. I've had pain. Like, you know, I've played sports, and even just, like, deadlifting. I told them, I was like, dude, my sport, you drag metal across your shin every day. You know, like, this isn't going to hurt. And I do have a lot of hair, but so she rips one and can't believe I didn't react. So then, of course, she throws another, and then throws another. And then my cousin thinks it's so funny, and he might have had a couple drinks at the time, but he comes over, and he's like, all right, and he does his head. And I'm like, well, that one probably hurt. But he didn't really flinch either. I was like, all right, bro, like, we're in it.
Proving the point, though.
Yeah, and then I was hoping fall weather would be here, so it'd be sweatpant time, because for those listeners, I have...
it's hot.
I have like an 8 by 8 inch just taken out of my calf of pure baldness, and I'm pale as shit, so...
Did you win the argument?
I think so. Yeah. I think they were pretty... Even my aunts were, like, laughing their asses off. Like, pretty impressed that I didn't flinch. But it doesn't hurt, like, that bad. It did get a little red, and then it itched a little bit, but, like, it's really not that bad.
It's over so fast, though.
Yeah, and all you ladies out there complaining, come on, man. It doesn't hurt that bad. Hurts to be beautiful.
One, yeah.
Like, I'm fucking gorgeous. Didn't hurt once.
Wife and I are watching the final season of Sex Education on Netflix, and
I've heard of it.
Extensive scene where the sister of one of the main characters is getting all the undercarriage waxed, and it just looks very painful.
Yeah, I mean, a Brazilian might be a different... If you're going down, like, the Devil Alley and trying to wax me, it probably hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I think she was probably, like, smooth as a newborn by the time she was done. It was like...
Yeah, ladies don't have the same speed bumps we got. Like, that's a whole different... That's a whole different waxing issue also.
I don't know how you'd even go about that, like, logistically.
No, me either. Yeah, the skin textures are a little different. Yeah. There's some different things going on. Yeah, shin is... Even head. That's why I was worried about head. Like, head skin's a little different than...
There are plenty of TikTok videos like that now where they're, like, doing somebody's whole head or their whole face.
There's a viral video on YouTube. That place is supposed to be censored for kids, and there's B-hole being shown on YouTube.
No.
A young gentleman
is
just talking about waxing the...
Is it educational purpose?
The chocolate starfish, yeah, I guess because it's educational. I don't know, man. That thing was going viral, being texted around a lot of group chats for a bit.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of group chats you were on.
I wasn't in it. I saw it on the internet, but trust me, it was.
Okay.
You were probably in the one where the dude has the Converse, and then you look to the left at the Converse, and it's actually his third leg. You never seen that? No, you. I think you were literally in the chat with me. This is like,
probably so.
Yeah, 15 years ago. You never saw that? No, you saw that, man.
We're on different parts.
It's a very large gentleman.
Okay.
No, everyone saw it. It's probably the generation above you. He's like sitting down and like, the focus of the thing is like the sneaker, and then you look just to the right. Same elevation, if you get what I'm saying. Dude, the internet's crazy. Internet's crazy. All right, let's end this on some Gary V shit.
Yeah.
So you're a solopreneur.
Yeah.
You do graphic design, branding, loads of stuff. What would be 3 tips that someone out there that may have a skill or may want to build a skill? Obviously, I'll be on my Gary V. Number one thing that most people that want to start a business or make money in life lack is a fucking skill.
Yeah.
Right? So number one, you have to find what you're good at or at least love.
Yeah.
and get really good at it.
Yeah.
And continue to get good at it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be the best to start,
Nope.
but you have to get a really good base to start. Ask for a mentor. Go find a job. A job is experience and gets you good at shit, but get good at something, right? That's my biggest knock on online coaches and all this shit. Or
don't really offer anything.
People want to content create. Well, like, why? What are you going to teach me? What do you have? I was a coach for 6 years before I did my first online coaching video, right? Yeah. So get good at something. And at 6 years, was I the best coach on the planet? No. But I had a base.
Good enough. Yeah.
So you have, obviously, your skill set. So after that, maybe 1 to 3 tips of how to, like, build a brand, build a business, advice for people that want to, get the Lamborghini and the Rari.
Yeah, I think I'm a minute away from the Lamborghini and the Rari.
No.
But,
who knows, dude? One decision away from being a billionaire.
Absolutely. But I think main thing is just, like, start with what you have. I've been around some very talented designers in very, like, prestigious design schools who are way better than I am. I'm not afraid to say that. I don't really have any ego in, like, what I do or how I do it, but they lack, I guess, any, like, the backing themselves, really. They all kind of say, like, oh, I don't have it, because they think in order to get clients, they need, like, a huge social media page that's doing really well. Yeah. And then the friction of that and the friction of starting making content to them is huge. And I don't have a page with thousands and thousands of followers on it. I have a few fitness people with little blue ticks next to their name following me. And that's kind of all you really need.
I paid for it.
Yeah. They're all paid actors, but just kind of, like, start with what you have and realize that if you just have, like, a little bit of something and you can DM one person and they can see there's something on your page, that's helpful enough. I didn't make, like, a portfolio for the first, like,
you never sent me a fancy resume. Yeah, I just saw your Instagram and the shit looked dope.
And most people don't care, and especially in, like, the design or the creative world, if you're a photographer, videographer, designer, like, there's a lot of, like, pretension in there as well. Yeah. So I think just kind of coming off as yourself would really, really help. And I think. What
do you think that barrier started? Because I agree, and that is a lot of things. You either have 2 people, I feel like, say, you're the middle ground, you built your skill. One person thinks they're way better than they are, kind of Dunning-Kruger, and they're like, why isn't Louis Vuitton hiring me yet? Yeah. But then the other side thinks, like, there's that barrier of feeling of like, damn, I'm not even a designer. I'm not good enough. Kind of the imposter syndrome also, but it's also built by the culture, I think. Yeah. The culture of creation kind of makes everyone, like, gatekeep in a way.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like, people kind of want to hoard their own things.
Yeah.
But, I think, kind of, to your point, again, definitely, I've been around people who think they are way better than they are, and then people who, again, I wish they could push themselves a tiny bit more because they'd be in a great place. But I think, like, your circumstance has a lot to do with it. If you're in, like, a cushy position or things are okay or you're working a job you don't necessarily hate and you'll tolerate it for the next few years, then it's hard to kind of make a go at it.
Yeah, sense of urgency.
Yeah, it's because I dropped out of architecture school. And not to, like, start Facebook, not in, like, a Mark Zuckerberg kind of way. But there was just a kind of like, oh, well, I'm back home, out of London. I want to do something. Yeah. Let me try this.
Yeah, fuck, I'm stuck, or fuck, I'm doing nothing.
Exactly. And then I watched one Gary Vee video. And I think a second point is that people get too caught in that cycle of kind of hyping themselves up with motivation and watching kind of business videos and podcasts. Like, if you took everyone's advice, it would all even out to 0. Yeah. One person's going to say you have to do this, one person will say you have to do the other thing.
Literally, if you dive into business content right now or marketing or motivational content, it's just as broken as, like, politics. Exactly. Like, there's literally 2 walls of it.
Yeah, 100%. So if you see or hear something that you think is useful, then close YouTube. Yeah. Try and go action that for, like, a year. Yeah. Which is essentially what I did. And I think, like, Russ had just started GPT at the time. Get Better Today brand, now Better brand, and I shot one DM on a lunch break at the bar. I was working at minimum wage, just be like, I will design a t-shirt for free. And he was small enough at the time that he would see it, and that was kind of my tactical bet. He just started the Instagram page for the brand. I knew he wouldn't be employing, like, a customer service person. Yeah. That's when it would be him. I had a few designs up on my page I thought he might like, and he replied. I did the design for free, and then a month later he was like, do you want to design the gym branding for me, Corrupted Strength? And then that was a paid job, and then that leapfrogged to another one, and then I worked with you, worked with Steffi, worked with Bart, and a whole host of other people who
shoot
awesome. And you got to, like, just start somewhere and then work your way up. It was nice. There was no kind of, I didn't know anyone to begin with. They were on the other side of the world. Yeah. So
now you're homies with them all.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the other thing as well. It's kind of, if you are going to work in that, like, content creation and game or work with content creators, like, just be kind of, chill. These are normal people as well. I think people kind of take them to be the whole like cult of celebrity and everything, but they're just normal people. They might need a designer. They might be starting something, and shoot your shot.
Yeah, just don't anybody take the jobs that you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Yeah, wrap her up, dude. Where can people find you? Are you taking on clients? You got a website and Instagram. If people want to work with you, new brands, old brands, what you got for them?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Munby Design. Pretty simple.
Munby.
Munby. Yeah, because everyone misspells it. That's thank you.
Yeah, because it could be an I.
It could be.
That'd be kind of artsy.
Munby Design. Shoot me there. The same at gmail.com if you have an inquiry. And yeah, let's work together. Thank you again for letting me work with you guys. It's been a real pleasure. And
of course, buddy. More to come.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, new episodes Wednesday and Friday. 3sb.co for all your clothing needs if you want some luxury training gear. We got you set. Goodcompany.discord.com if you want to get involved in the conversation, join the community. There's exclusives on items, early sneak peeks, giveaways, like-minded community. I'm in there every day chatting with y'all, so I'll see you there. Goodcompany.discord.com. And I'm Solid Mike. Where you want to find me?
I am at the Jim McDonald on all the social media. The show is 50% facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. 50% Facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you next time.
I was going to say, I don't know if you want to edit, you could take the question that I asked him at the end there, step 1 and 2, and it could be the end of the regular episode and do a Friday, or we could do a Friday. It's up to you.
If we can find a good question, let's do that. Otherwise, I'll do the edit. I will say, in Gary V's defense, I do not consume his content really anymore. But in person, there's one thing he's very, very good at, and that he shuts the whole rest of the world out. To talk to you.
He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt any of that stuff. His social media is performative now.
Yeah, I just kind of like, I think,
or performance-itive, if that makes sense.
One of his videos popped up for me for the first time in several years, and I watched it. And I was like, oh, he's just gone off the edge of a cliff. Or something for me at least. But
there's a decent one. Yeah, we can do a quick one. We'll make it like 8 minutes. So basically, we do 2 episodes a week. Yeah. One's a real one, one's a small one. We'll just bang out a small one if you got a sec. Yeah, let's do it. Ready, Sabas?
Was that okay?
No, it's perfect. Yeah.
Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Friday episode. One good question, 50% facts, and I'm here with our guest, Oli The Designer, and we're going to dive into a question. If you want to get involved, we take one question from Discord, so you got to go to goodcompany.discord.com. There's a tab on the left. If you don't have Discord, it's an easy app or web browser. Basically, it's a group chat mixed with a forum, so it's just for Good Company, 50% facts listeners. It's all like-minded folks, so join in. On the left, there's a tab called One Good Question. You can ask a question and have a chance to be featured on an episode. And today, we got I don't want to fuck your name up, bruh. Yusuke the God.
Okay.
I know there's a lot out there about hybrid training, but have anyone else have experience being a locally competitive powerlifter and a runner? How do you balance it? I feel like one has to go, especially if I need to shed some pounds. So Munby does a bunch of stuff. He's powerlifted for years. He's done a little triathlete. He grew up doing some rowing. I myself have not done extra long distance marathon running or anything like that, but I've been a strength and conditioning coach forever, which is like a similar balance when you're talking about building muscle, fatigue management, and managing someone's general body when they're in basketball training season, rugby season, etc. Other things I've worked with. And then me, myself, I've experimented obviously with bike rides up to 10, 20 miles a day, 3 to 7 days a week, which again isn't on some Lance Armstrong shit, but we're balancing it. And my first answer to you, buddy, before we go to Munby and see what he thinks, my first answer would be they actually don't have to give, depending on genetics, obviously, and then how extreme you take anything, and overall training years. Now, if you've been training for powerlifting for a decade perfectly and you're at the absolute cusp of being the best powerlifter in the world, you're a 180-pound kid and you're deadlifting 700, benching 4, deadlifting 700, and now all of a sudden you want to dive into some endurance training, you're probably going to suffer based on pure fatigue. Our body, our mind, our calories can only handle so much. And so, yeah, if you're so optimized in a certain sector, something will give there. Body weight, I wouldn't actually necessarily say plays a role unless we're going something very extreme and you're doing running up to 100, 200 miles. Then it's obviously going to play a role. Or if you want to be, again, on the opposite scale and you're trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon, yeah, the likelihood of you being over 220 pounds body weight is going to be rare. But if your training age, one, isn't, locked in, and I know it's going to hurt everyone's ego, but you have to truly be self-aware and see how locked in you are. If you aren't eating right, sleeping right, following a program to the T for 6 years in powerlifting or in the endurance sport, running, I guess was his main question, you're probably going to be fine. You might have to adjust your calories. You might need to eat a little bit more, right? Because you're going to be running more and expending more calories. You might have to adjust when you train. If you're used to training in the afternoon and then you want to run in the evening, that might get weird. It might help to do your squats, bench, and deadlift 8 a.m., get a full day of breathing and meals in, and then get your running and get your miles in at night. Again, if you're following programs with both, it's going to help. But unless you're really trying to be elite at both, and this is going to sound mean, but if you have bad work ethic, bad genetics, and you're just like kind of an average-ish dude, then you can just easily cruise average being both. And then same with the elite genetics. Like if you have the elite genetics, because a lot of people like Nick Bear and some of these, like Nick's mentally built different for sure, but even physically, like, I mean, he's Captain America. Like he's not built like the rest of us, physically or mentally. And, sorry, Nick, buddy, he's getting a little older in age. So he has these training years. He's old like me. We know our bodies so well. But even that, his running, I think, is a little bit more elite than his lifting. Although he's very strong on an average level, he's not an IPF world champion level lifter, and he's not an IFBB level bodybuilder. So you can be pretty good at those. His physique's great. He looks fucking dope, and he's strong as shit. He's pulling 600 pounds. Like, not to take away his strength level. He's very strong. But he's not Russ Swole.
Yeah.
He's not at these high-ass levels, and then he's not Cam Hanes on the other end. Although I do think it probably in the spectrum, his running is probably a little bit more elite than his. I don't know his running numbers offhand, but I think they're a little bit more elite than his lifting. But again, he's a really good athlete, and he's really mentally tough as shit. So then he can be an 8 out of 10 runner and like a 6 out of 10 power lifter. But even for him to be a 10 out of 10 runner, he'd probably have to, and he has, you could see it physique-wise, he drops some muscle, he drops some weight. So for him to turn that way up, yeah, maybe you're not deadlifting 600 pounds anymore.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people that's okay. It's like kind of when you realize that powerlifting it can ask a lot of you in a competitive sense, and if that's not worth it, you want to do other things, and absolutely go for it. I think people maybe sometimes don't quite realize how little volume they need to actually like just progress.
Oh, or maintain.
Absolutely.
If you're strongish, maintaining is the easiest thing on the planet. You saw how I deadlifted yesterday. I did one set. I did one set kind of hard, but I'll pull over 600 any day of the week.
100%. Yeah. And I know we were talking about this the other day, but like some advice I got earlier on in my lifting career, if you can call it that, is just try and progress like as slowly as possible, as consistently as possible, for as long as possible. Some people really, really want to push to like, they want to, I know it's their social media will help, and they can leave their job if they're posting videos of them deadlifting 700 every day and get sponsored by a brand. But if you want like I'll be very curious to see where all those kids are at in 10 years.
Yeah, physically or mentally.
Yeah, versus you who hasn't been injured. And I think that, if you kind of just dial it down a little bit, ask yourself how much volume you really need, and then you can creep in some volume into running, and you keep the running easy. Yeah,
and same thing with running, right? Yeah. Like, you don't want to just hop out there and hop on a marathon program if you're used to walking a mile a day.
Yeah, and
like milk it.
100%. And I made that mistake. The classic thing, I was like a 230-pound powerlifter and started running really hard during first lockdown in the UK and tore my calf.
Yeah, of course.
It went,
something's going to give.
Went blue and black kind of across the band of it. And I still have problems with it now if I kind of don't treat my mileage properly. And because I think that's something to bear in mind with the transitioning is powerlifting builds a lot of the tissue kind of from the knee all the way up.
Yeah.
And you can get a lot of meat on you, and then everything from the knee down to the ankle, which is going to be a lot of the stuff that helps you in being an athlete and being able to run and gait, is going to be a little bit more underdeveloped. So definitely take some time to like do your calf accessories, do Achilles work, do foot stuff, to really, really get that ankle complex strong. Yeah. So it can take your weight. And also, I know it's just running as the goal, but definitely consider like some cross training. I think at the start, because I was training for a triathlon, I really didn't fully appreciate how much cycling helped me. Cycling is a non-weight bearing sport.
Yeah.
So you're not going to tear your calf doing it. You're not going to injure yourself anywhere near as much as you will running. You can really hammer away, like bash away at the miles. In cycling, you can build your engine, build your VO2 max, all the zone 2 goodness, and then you can just start upping the running as your body adjusts to it.
A lot of people haven't gone into like different circles of strength and conditioning, and so like powerlifting has exploded over the last 10 years, so people nerd out about RPEs and straight sets versus, you know, all these different things. But a lot of those guys don't have a strength and conditioning background, and then they'll follow someone who's so into endurance training, and so they'll follow Cam Hanes and see what all these people are talking about running. But there's a lot of data and a lot of science on general strength and conditioning that people just either don't know, ignore, or don't talk about. Like simple things like that. Like when you're talking about endurance training or becoming a powerful athlete or being overall just more athletic, there's basic rules that have been known and do work. So running long distance, true aerobic capacity is built through anaerobic training and aerobic training. Doing sprints helps your long distance running. Doing long distance running helps nothing but long distance running. So same idea. Yeah, if people are just wanting to deadlift singles and then run 20 miles, you're missing a whole spectrum of benefits from doing something like sprints on a salt bike, different modalities with your body, even just higher rep sets. That's where something like cross training, maybe like for deadlifting, doing lunges 50 yards probably is not necessarily going to get you too sore to do something like that. But you start to build up work capacity and strength endurance in different modalities to now be a more well-rounded athlete, probably will build that gap in the bridge between, because now we're talking literally opposite sides of the spectrum. Running 20 miles and deadlifting a 1 rep max. There's a lot of different things we can sprinkle in there, and then your advice is great. Not necessarily start slow and don't push yourself, but you don't got to go 0 to 100 for sure.
Absolutely.
And running, it's just different because when you're powerlifting, the weight on the bar automatically makes you progress slow. If you're a beginner, you just don't have the technique or the neuromuscular coordination to deadlift 500 pounds. So you're going to deadlift 315 and then slowly over time deadlift 500. But when you're running, the only thing that's really stopping you is your brain. Right? So like if you're a psycho, you can just go out there and you could run a marathon.
That was my problem.
And you're going to get fucked up.
It's like I was bored of not training as much from the lockdown. So like, let's go. And
all the carbs from all the double stuffed Oreos, you're ready to fucking...
Exactly. All the saltine crackers.
Move and zoom.
Absolutely.
In it.
All right.
Hit him. So Mumby, for those that don't know, if you're just following in Friday and didn't check out the long episode, he is our designer. He works with a ton of different fitness brands, bar brands, different companies around the world, helps them build their branding, their story, and also the graphic design, the overall look and culture of a brand. And he helped us, a good company. And he's been in town chilling with us. If you guys are interested in any of his services, he is taking people. Where can people find you, buddy?
You can find me at Munby Design on Instagram. That is MUNBY.
DMs, shoot you a message, whatever.
DMs, all good. Instagram's the best platform for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3sb.co if you want some luxury training gear, some high quality gym and streetwear. Always available. Goodcompany.discord.com. And I'm Solid Mike, where you want to find me.
And so actually this short episode precedes our long episode with Oli. So check out Wednesday's episode for the full deal. Where we do a lengthy compare and contrast essay. I am at the Jim McDonald. The social media of the show is 50% facts, where percent is a word, and 50 is just numbers. 50% facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. Wednesday. Do you pronounce the D in podcast?
Podcast, yeah.
You do, okay.
Yeah, podcast. Sweet.